Hey everyone, it's Joric. Welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the channel. Hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much as well for commenting on the videos over the years, sending emails, the good, the bad, the indifferent. It's always interesting to get perspectives from people who either agree or disagree. Today's question I thought might be a good one for those of you related to Portugal or wherever you have lived, if you've lived in another country. In general, has your experience with fellow expats, immigrants, foreigners been a good one and a helpful one, or has it been not? And where I'm going with that is when people message me or email me about, hey, I'm going to move to X country or Y country or Z country, what are your thoughts, or do you have some people that live there? Can you give me some advice or give me some contacts or some context? I always want to find out why and try to link them up with fellow immigrants that are living in that country from their home country, if I and when I can. And it's an open-ended question, but I'm intrigued to get your opinion on how you feel like immigrant groups treat fellow immigrant groups. And I don't, it's going to come across, I don't mean the question to be from a racist standpoint. I want to get that off at the top. I'm not stating how Americans treat Brits and vice versa in Portugal, or how Greeks treat Croatians in Italy. Not that. I just mean when you're moving to a new country and you need help. Hey, I need some I have some questions about my bank account, or hey, how do you turn on the electricity, or does anybody have a good website for the best bus route to take to get from point A to point B? Those types of things. When you've had interactions, have they been generally good, or have they been, not as fun and more stressful and frustrating than they need to be? It really comes up from several people that do message, and they do sign up for certain groups. So two different things: Facebook and Reddit groups to be a part of, to learn about a particular country or city that they're moving to. And often the response that I get from them is it's more toxic than it's worth. There's just a lot of infighting, people pissed off. If you don't agree with their politics or their social stance, you're booted and you have no say. When you just want to find out what's the best bank to use in the country, you get a lot of other, ridiculousness with it. I'm just curious what your experiences have been when you've moved to another country. Have you not had that, and you've had people from different areas help you out regardless of what country they're from? And then that's kind of part one. The other part of this, part two, is when you've gone to that other country and either a scouting trip, and you went to, there's a website called Meetup, and you can pick a country or a city, and usually there's hundreds of events that you can go participate in. Often, but not always, those are run by immigrants or expats, foreigners, people that are not from that country. And I'm just wondering what your interactions are with the fellow people that set these up, or the people that you meet along the way. Do they help sell you on moving to that country and say, hey, it's good to go? Or after going, do you go, I don't want to hang out with these people, or maybe this is indicative of the type of people that move to this country. I don't want to move here. I am fascinated by that. Our experience, I've only got one country to talk about other than the U.S., which that's ridiculousness right there. But living in Portugal for 5 years, we did sign up with lots of meetups and different groups to try to get the scoop of what's it really like to live there. And I will say, the in-person meetups with different organizations and whatnot were pretty favorable. I will say it's rare that we went someplace and felt uncomfortable or got badgered by somebody, regardless of where they were from. And the odd thing is there was one gentleman and one group. We went to a supper club in Lisbon, and a great supper club. We did it for years, and we knew every time we asked the organizer, is this particular gentleman going to be there? And most of the time the answer was yes. Really good guy. And we had a lot of fun talking to him. The difficulty is if the supper club started at 7, 9 or 10 o'clock, 3 hours later, he's still ripping on myself or my wife for being Americans and why do we have guns and all the things that are wrong with the U.S. and many of the things that we agree with him on. But that was neither here nor there. But that was just one example. The rest were all incredibly favorable. Being able to talk to people who were from China, from Russia, from the Ukraine, fresh from the war there when we were living in Portugal, to describe firsthand accounts of what's going on. It was amazing to be able to break bread and talk about a number of things and be open and not defensive about, well, my country's this or that. We all were pretty open about some of the things that we thought our countries could do better. And so for me, the meeting in person was much better experience. Now, I am a content creator. I do YouTube, and 90% of the videos are related to Portugal or moving to or what life was like. And so I'm hypocritical, I guess, when I say this. Oftentimes with going through Facebook groups and Reddit groups, some of the absolute worst experiences I've ever had, where it's like you have to pledge an oath to someone's politics, or you have to pledge an oath to this social cause or something to be able to, and at the moment you're critical of anything, you're booted or banned. It's interesting. Some people believe in free speech. I guess some people don't. But I found that to be a much more toxic area to be in. And I don't know, thankfully, I would say on YouTube, get a lot of people that are critical of me or correct me or say, you're wrong, or you're a bozo because of, you're completely wrong in this perspective. And I encourage that because I'm giving an opinion. There's nothing that I've said in 5 years that's been expertise at all. It's opinion based. So getting other opinions helps, because if there's 20 people that leave a comment, good or bad or critical or supportive, it helps other people look and read through those to get maybe a more well-balanced feel of what it's like to live in another country. But often the social media stuff, it's always bugged me, because it just seems like it devolves into something versus evolving into something better. It just turns into just something toxic. But what's your experience with that? That's just been me. I'd much rather, I do this, but I got to be honest with you. The people I've met in person doing this, either while living in Portugal, living in the United States, or we've been in other countries while we were traveling, and someone said, hey, would you like to meet up? We live in Portugal. Or, hey, we saw your video, but we live in Italy. It's fantastic. And even when people are critical, like there was one gentleman that for probably 5 videos in a row, he went off and he was really upset at my comments, and he had a completely different opinion. And I'm going, okay, well, it's your opinion, it's mine. I think we could both be right or both be wrong. But ended up meeting him in Italy, of all places. And I kept thinking, okay, well, this could be interesting. But we had a coffee, which led to 3 more, and then some wine, and it was fantastic. It was that this led to in-person, which I always think is a hell of a lot better than typing on social media, where you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof and you can say whatever you want. There's no repercussions. When you meet somebody in person, it's a little different. This is not that. This is definitely not that. But do you feel the same way? Do you feel like the meetups and interacting in person, does that give you a better and a more well-rounded view of what the potential country you're going to move to or city that you're going to live in feels and looks like? Do you get better information? or are you someone that gets better information from social media? That's something that there is no right answer or wrong, and maybe it's a little bit of both. And maybe maybe the best answer is I don't listen to anybody. I'm going to do it on my own and make my own determination, and that's it. I'd love to, but either way, I'd love to hear from you. As always, thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your travels.